Israel. First and foremost, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Berkakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the whole field, beginning with 144,000. Shalom. So, the brother Kakan Kabar, right, back with another morning talk, on the way to the plantation. It's currently 5:20 a.m. I probably got another roughly 15 to 18 minutes till I get to work. Every morning or every week, so I can, I wake up around 4:30, 4:40, to be on my way to the plantation. Every morning, every day. I pray to y'all, I'll see y'all shop, man. Speed this thing up, man. In the kingdom, we don't have to worry about getting up at the ass crack of dawn to go work at the fucking plantation, man. We ain't got to worry about these things in the kingdom, man. Working for the white man, right? Because the white man will be working for us. Not only the white man, the other nations as well. So that's easy to be aggravating, but that's what comes, being in captivity. That's what comes being a man, and it's actually the Sabbath, so Shabbat Shalom, right? And, Esau society, how you going off on the Sabbath? What we're supposed to be doing right now, resting. But instead, I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, when I don't want to, go work at the plantation doing shit that I don't want to do. Right, but it is what it is, man. You gotta take it on the chin, and just going into the Sabbath things that said just prepping for the Sabbath, because a lot of brothers be out to work on the Sabbath, so man, you got to prep, right? Today I bought yesterday I went and got a salad bowl from Chipotle, so now that's what I'm bringing to lunch for my lunch today at work, so I don't have to buy any food or use any microwave at work. Or I got gas 2 days ago, so I don't have to buy or sell right while it's the Sabbath. So the only thing that I be doing wrong is just working on the Sabbath. You gotta pray to Yahweh for the forgiveness. That you have to work on the Sabbath when the Lord wants you to rest. The Lord wants you to listen to videos, get edified, and rest. But anyways, right, this morning talk could just be going into just how to take it when you brought to a lower state, right? Because when people brought to a lower state or they're at their worst, what they feel like they have to do, or what does that cause? They cause worriness, anxiety, what's the word I'm trying to use? Worriness, anxiety, sadness, madness, things of that such, right? But when the Lord tell you in Sirach, chapter 2, or another word, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, starting at verse 4, the Lord tells you, when you brought down to a lower state, take it cheerfully, right? And, obviously it's better said than done, right? But these are the things that you literally have to take cheerfully, because you know that the Lord is dealing with you, so like that the Lord is dealing with you, man, so brothers have many examples of that. You can be thrown into jail, use the rest of your money on, bonding out, right? So now you may have to ask a brother or a family member, hey, your mama or your pops, for some extra bread until you get paid again, right? Or you get into it with your spouse. And now you sleeping in the living room, or now you have to go stay with another family member, or whatever the case may be, right? You might have just, came broke, struggling to pay the car just messed up. Right, so you have to use all the money that you have saved up to get your car fixed so you can make it to and from work. Right, whatever the case may be. Of course, brothers have different situations, right, that they're dealing with, on a daily or weekly basis, But when you brought to a lower state, right, hey, Lord tell you to take it cheerfully. Hey, it ain't gonna be the end of the world, right? And it'll always storm. Hey, eventually the sun comes back out. But with this knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, we understand these things, right? We know how to deal and think during situations we were put in them, right? Unlike the people that's in the world, right? When they brought to a lower state, or they're struggling, whatever the case may be, first thing they want to do is talking about giving up, right? I ain't gonna say the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? A lot of people talking about giving up, and some more crazy shit, man. But we have that knowledge, understanding, wisdom. Okay, better just chastisement from the Lord, right? When you go into Hebrews, the 12th chapter, starting at verse 6, and it says the Lord, chastening who He loves, right? So the Lord is correcting you, right? Correcting you, when you brought to that lower state, right? Because now what you gotta do, when you brought to that lower state, that's when people tend to do what? Turn into the Lord, right? When you're back against the wall, you got nothing else to do, but nothing else to call on what people tend to do. Now they want to pray. Now they want to get their life together, right? Things of that such, But the Lord loveth who He chasteneth, right? He said, man, you want to be chastened, right? Rough paraphrase. I'm not even trying to paraphrase it the best way I can, right? It's like the 7th or 8th chapter, right? He said, chastisement or chastening, right? It's like a son. If you don't be chastised, you can't endure chastisement. It's like it's a bastard, right? So if you can't endure these things, man, how the hell you think you're going to be able to endure the Jacob's trouble, right? The hour of temptation, the things of that such. Because man, the Lord just, when you brought to those lower states, to where you can't eat, or you don't have money to pay for this, or you can't do this, you can't do that, right? These are small little tests, small little quizzes, pop quizzes, how we want to put it, right? Preparing you for the ultimate test, right? Because when we gotta be tried and go through that spiritual fire, right? A lot of brothers go forward. Why? They ain't never been through nothing, or they not mentally tough, or ultimately because they was just never the elect, right? They never had that faith for real, they never believed for real, so those little quizzes and things that said that's just preparation for the spirit, right? Hey, you get thrown in jail for a couple of days. What you go do? You go bash the Lord's name, or you go continue to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, right? So these are little tests, right? When you've been chastised, these are little tests, little corrections, for you to prepare you for the ultimate test, right? The things that we're going through now is nothing compared to the things to come, right? When we go into 2nd Ezra. Might be chapter 14, right? When it goes into I'll see if I can grab it real quick. Not really grab it, but I'm gonna go to the chapter and make sure. It says let go of thy mortal thoughts, right? I just quote it. Alright, so it says let go of thy mortal thoughts, right? And everything that's motion to you. Why? There's way more worse things to come. I just roughly paraphrase. I believe it's the 14th chapter, if I'm mistaken. Brothers can obviously fact check me, right? But right? Or that we at the end, well, meaning that we almost had the day of Yahweh return, right? So, the wars and, everything going on, MOTB finna be, made mandatory, right? Railroad 3 finna escalate and pop off, and soon, man, it's gonna be like we just woke up from a nightmare. Oh, shit. Next thing you know, you're in a damn chariot, man. Watching this place be destroyed, man. And it's like you just woke up from your dream. You're like, oh, shit. You're in the kingdom of heaven, man. Looking at the glorious and magnificent and beautiful, things that the Lord has set up for us for this whole entire time, man. Just for us enduring and keeping the faith. Hey, it's going to be way beautiful and more immaculate than anything that we can even think of upon the face of this earth, right? The most prettiest and best looking thing that you see on this earth have nothing on what it's going to look like in the kingdom of heaven, man. And that's all though, man. I ain't really want to make it long. Probably 5 minutes away from work. Just want to let the Lord put the spirit on me to, give a little more talk, man, about being brought to a lower state. Alright, because a lot of people don't know how to handle it when they get brought into these situations, man. But that's what this knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Like it's in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge have been stability of our times. Alright, so they keep us stable when we put in these certain situations. We got Yahweh outside to pray to. People in the world, they don't. Right? They call upon JC and, Alan Buddha and E5, these idle guys and thinking their life finna get better. No. It's only gonna get worse. Until you come back into your true power, the one and only, right? Your life is going to continue to be miserable, man. And our life is miserable as it is. Right? Hey, take it cheerfully, take it on the chin, take it like a man when you're brought to these lower states, man. Okay, it was at a time, man, literally, I think like the start of December, right? Literally probably all the way up until like the end of February, March, so to speak, man. I was chastised. The Lord chastised me for like 3 months straight. Like, no joke, man. Literally chastised me for literally 3 months straight. Like, man, I done lost like $7,000-$8,000. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. $1,000. It's like got to the point that I only got enough money just to pay the bills. Right? Everything was just going wrong in my life. I'm like, fuck. You going through this shit, man. You like, fuck. But every day, every time, I'm still giving all praise and glory to Yahweh. So I could have bashed him. I could have did anything, man. But I still gave all praise because I know it wasn't going to last long. And I still had my faith in Yahweh. Because I knew it was chastisement. I knew the Lord just chastened me, man. Just corrected me. So, hey, trust me, I know how it is to, go through some shit and, have to get through it, man. But the one thing you should never do is start bashing and stop believing in Yahweh. So you should never lose faith. Right? You should never lose faith. If anything, you should gain it. You should be praying more. Right? And that's what I did, man. I continued to pray. Next thing you know, the Lord started bettering up my life. Alright? So, with that being said, Lord, this was just a quick edifying, morning talk, right to the brothers, whoever they may, reach out to, and, brothers and even sisters that be going through, things right now, right? But just know to take it cheerfully, man. Read Sirach, the second chapter, read girls in the 14th chapter. But just know, never lose faith in Yahweh Shaka. He gonna always make a way. And with that being said, Shabbat Shalom.